How's it going, everyone? This is Luxeley on his Revenant. Revenant, I think Leonardo DiCaprio, but I'm on my Revenant named Noren Pain, and I'm in Noren country where it's always cold. Where it was cold yesterday, it'd probably be cold tomorrow, and it's cold today, but today there's no snow. And just kind of wandering through Noren country, waiting for someone to blow a horn or whatever. Just very Viking-like. And
snow leopard always acts swiftly.
Yes, they turned me into a leopard. Now I gotta play with these little puppies. They're always happy to see me. Get this guy here. Yep, tickle tickle. Isn't that fun? Give you a bone. This old man came rolling home. Now, another thing we have to do is play with these little pups again. Yeah. See, the funny thing is, once you give like a little pup attention, you know, you have to be committed to giving that pup a lot of attention. Because, like, if you give it only about 30 seconds of attention and walk away, it'll follow you and say, hey, dude, I want more attention. Oh. And we got to kill that. See, I'm not a big fan when they kind of turn me into something else in the game in order to do a quest. I'd rather just play my tune, play my character. Now, yeah, what are you doing in those bushes? How could I not see that Moa in those bushes? See, no, I'm not used to playing as a leopard, and he gets away from me. There's a moose. Hey, moose, how's it going? Could he move any slower? I think he can. Oh, missed him. Take two, missed again. No, now we got you. Sorry. Uh-oh, you're dead. Thanks for playing. I guess deer is for dinner. And we're going to resurrect all these guys. I don't know why they're dead. Maybe they're just sleeping. But we have some good news on Guild Wars 2, actually. They're revamping the whole league system. And I say bravo. I say gold star for the refrigerator. Maybe I won't lose 18 matches in a row. That is not a fallacy. That is not me exaggerating. That is a reality. Losing 18 matches in a row. Now, I'm not the best player. On my best day, I'm average. Okay? Could be better if I was focused on playing one profession, if I was really focused on the game and improving, maybe watch a few videos, a few streams, if anybody actually streams this. Last time I checked, 270 people watching Guild Wars 2 on the stream, as opposed to World of Warcraft, 8,000, and World of Warcraft didn't even make the top 10. Why is that? Leave it in the comments, let me know. I'm amazed by that fact. Does that mean people are streaming on YouTube? Maybe a few, but not that much. Very surprised. But these changes in the PvP, when you make changes at the most basic part of the game, it has a very strong recruitive... Oh, you're dead. You're going to be dead. Thanks for playing. Deer is for dinner. When you make changes at the most very basic part of the game, it has a trickle-up effect in the sense that if you get more people interested in PvP at the most basic level, it's going to grow PvP. Then the tournaments that they stream are going to get more viewers. They're going to get more interest. More viewers means more exposure, and it's going to grow that way. And when you step up and you start to make these changes to try and improve the league, that's a huge statement to me. It really is. And it should mean bravo for ArenaNet, gold star on their refrigerator, because let's face it, it's not fun when you lose 18 games in a row, and out of those 18 games, 1 or 2 of them are actually competitive. Out of those 18 games, it's being on the wrong side of a 4v5 because some seasoned players immediately realized, wow, this sucks, we're going to just AFK out. It sucked. It got to the point where I just had absolutely no interest in PvP. I was still playing Guild Wars 2, logging on for my rewards, logging on to maybe level a tune here or there, but really, if I'm interested in a game, it's because of PvP. And Guild Wars 2 PvP, as far as the matchmaking was concerned, was a goddamn fucking atrocity. It couldn't possibly get worse. It just was ridiculous, and if you're gonna turn off a guy like me, a guy who does love the game, a guy who is committed to the game, guys making videos on the game, if you're gonna turn me off to the PvP, guess what? You're turning off a lot of casual players. There are a lot of casual people or even people that have the potential to be hardcore players that are going to be turned off just because, wow, this sucks, I'm moving on. Because let's face it, why are you going to buy a burger for $10 when the guy next door is selling it for $5? Why are you going to play Guild Wars 2 and say, wow, the PvP really sucks, I'm going to go play, when you can try WildStar, or you could try SWOTR, or you could try Rift, or you could even try World of Warcraft. There's a lot of other MMOs that you could try and maybe have a better experience. Because what's on that other side of the fence is always more appetizing, is always more enticing. It might not actually be that, but while you're trying out that game, the reality is you're not trying out Guild Wars 2. And I think these changes are going to have, or potentially have, a trickle-up effect. It's going to mean more views for the tournaments, more views for the streams, and I think it's going to be a good thing. They're upping the rewards. They're making the opportunity, or creating the opportunity for people to queue with a group or queue solo, which is huge because when you're facing a pre-made. When you're facing a pre-made because they act in unison, because their reaction rate or their response time is spot on, because they're not typing to each other, talking in Skype to each other. If I was going to type out this dialogue, it's going to take me 2, 3, maybe 4 times as long to type it out than if I just spoke it. And that translates into PvP. So a lot of those trouncings that I experienced, where I lost 18 matches in a row, were poor matchmaking, but it was also me being in a random group against pre-mades. And that's not competitive, that's not fair, and it's certainly a good way to turn off a huge amount of people. And I think that ArenaNet, by addressing this alone, just whether or not they fix it, I honestly am not that concerned or don't particularly care. I just think that the fact that they're addressing it is huge. Because in other MMOs, they don't necessarily address this kind of stuff until it's the start of a new X-Pack. And here we are in the middle of an X-Pack, no new X-Pack in sight, that's still at least a year away, and yet ArenaNet is addressing this. And I applaud them for it, and I'm very excited for it, and I'm certainly going to give the PvP a try. And I have to do my part, too, to improve. I have to really focus on a single profession. I can't be this jack-of-all-trades guy, because there's going to be times that you're on your thief and you're thinking that, you should put up your Aegis to get a block off on your Guardian, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not on my Guardian. That sounds ridiculous, but when you were playing your Guardian for an hour and then you decide to PvP on your thief, it's just kind of habit that you just got used to playing that Guardian, and you think you're going to be doing Guardian things, but you're on your thief. Let me know if you ever experienced that. I certainly do. Maybe it means I'm half retarded. I don't know. It's very possible. You could certainly tell me I am, and I won't be offended. I would be offended. I'll probably cry, and I'll say, Mom, am I retarded? And she'll say, no, son, you're not retarded. My mom loves me, and that's all that's important, right? Okay, tag me as a mama's boy. I really don't care. But I'm still in Noren country. Haven't seen any snow, which is pretty amazing. Oh, now it looks cold in here. You gotta love Noren country, where the forecast every single day: snow, cold, snow, cold, snow, cold, snow, cold. It's like Alaska, snow, cold, every day. So I'm just trying to get all the points of interest and all the things on a map so I can get my reward at the end. One thing that Guild Wars 2 does right are the rewards. And a few people left some comments about that the rewards aren't that great. But I guess if you've been playing the game for a very, very long time, the rewards do have a saturation point. They get to the point where they start to be diluted, because you're like, oh, been there, done that, have that. Been there, done that, have that. And that's not Guild Wars 2's fault. It's very, very hard to make it meaningful for veteran players, for seasoned players. And the bottom line is, those players, if you've been putting that much time in the game, you're doing it for the love of the game. You're not necessarily doing it for the short-term rewards. Maybe you're doing it for the long-term rewards, but not for the short-term rewards. I think I'm making a valid point. I hope I am. Just trying to kill the time while I kill some of these sons of Xavier or whatever they're called. I don't know who this Xavier guy is, but I mean, he does have a lot of sons, which probably means he had a lot of sex. There must be, this whole zone is full of his sons. That's like, I mean, I wonder if they all have the same mom. I don't know. That guy's walking really slow. Now, this is one of the most aggravating quests with these, like, bunnies. If I'm not mistaken, in an older version of the game, the quest was in a different spot on the map. And I think they moved it at some point. Am I right? I don't know. Well, I could be completely wrong. Sometimes I'm wrong. But here's the snow that I was expecting to see in Noren country.
I grow weary of this.
You grow weary of this. She will say that another, like, 10,000 times before the year is up. I guarantee it. Now I gotta hide from these bunnies. Poor bunnies. I mean, why not just give them the food and then whatever's left over you could just keep for yourself? It doesn't necessarily have to be so greedy in the sense, you know, just let them have some food. Poor little bunnies. Here you go, bro. I got some food for you. Nice hairdo. And we gotta pick up more food. Walk it over to the dude. I remember when I first did this quest on other tunes a while ago.
I could outrun a centaur.
Yes, you could outrun a centaur. Scare the bunnies. Scared, run away, run away. I got so frustrated with this quest. It just drove me crazy, and I just lost a stack of food there. So back to the PvP. I really, really applaud that they're being attentive. More importantly, taking action. They said they were going to do it. Would have liked to have had it done 4 or 6 months ago, but I do understand and respect the fact these things take time. Good things take time. Remember that. It's not like you grow a bunch of grapes, you smash them with your feet, and then you put it into a bottle and you got the world's perfect wine. No, it takes a lot of time. And that's something I think as players that we often forget. Good things do take time. And I think they've been very attentive the entire time. And it kind of distresses me and bothers me when people are bitching about ArenaNet not doing this, not doing that. Because the fact is, if they played other MMOs, ArenaNet is more attentive than other MMO producers. They truly are. And the fact that they're making these changes after talking about them for a while really shows that they have a passion for their game and they have an interest in their game. They get it. Because here's the thing. And I've said this many times, and at the risk of repeating myself, sounding like a broken record, for those of you, those are black vinyl things that used to spin around and sometimes sound scratchy and skip, and sometimes sounds scratchy and skip, and sometimes sounds, you get the point. So, I've said this many times. Esports is the future of gaming. Whether it's an MMO, single player, first shooter, doesn't matter. Esports is the future of gaming. That's where the money is. These tournaments. The kind of money that League of Legends is making in these tournaments is making all these other MMOs and Dotas and even single player and first person shooters, etc., making them jealous. Because there's very, very little expenditures that need to go into producing a stream, producing a tournament, and it does reap a lot of benefits. It indirectly promotes the game, it directly promotes the game, it puts the game in the stream of consciousness of players, of potential players, and when you have those cash prizes, it draws in people, and it draws them in at the most basic level, and that's why these changes are rather huge. Because if you are a guy who is into these tournaments, wow, that really went up cool. I love those destructive environments. But if you're one of these guys that is into tournaments and you're very competitive, the reality is you want to know that the game has a future if you're going to be putting your time and effort into those tournaments, into competing on a regular basis. And I think the fact that ArenaNet is taking this stance and making these changes is a commitment to that. And that is really, really huge in itself. Regardless of whether it works out perfectly, I think it will be better, whether it's perfect or close to perfect or even just average. bottom line is it's going to be better. It really is. And I'm not a guy who's generally positive, okay? I pretty much subscribe to pessimism. It constantly knocks on my door, and it offers it to me cheap, and I get money back, and I buy it. But this time I'm being very optimistic. And I'm going to try to take a shot and see what I can do this season and try to be committed to getting somewhere respectable. And we'll see what, I'm not exactly sure what profession I'm going to play. Leave it in the comments if you have any thoughts, what profession you would like to see out there being competitive. I personally seem to like my Ranger, Guardian, and Necromancer, and my Revenant. So I gotta knock those down to 2. Because playing with all 4 is certainly not... I even like my Thief quite a bit, too. See, this is the problem. And my Engineer. The only classes I'm not particularly drawn to in this game essentially are really just one. That's a Warrior. That's the only class. So I really have to focus things down to maybe 2 professions and just focus on that. So let me know if there's something in particular that you would like to see. I tend to be better at range classes than I do at melee classes. That's just my style, fits my play style, and I'd be focused on that. Maybe that's why I'm not so good on my Thief. If I had a choice, I would play a Thief, but I'm just not good on melee. Now I could play a range Thief completely with a short bow, primarily, and I think there was one other weapon that they could use ranged, but then people can be like, dude, what are you doing with a ranged thing? What's wrong with you? And they got a point. They're very valid. More Sons of Shalvir. I know I'm saying that wrong, but then again, it's just not important for me to get it right. And those explosive things in the world, those explosive environment is a huge, huge immersion and a huge, huge addition to the game. It's pretty damn awesome. Let me know if you guys notice that. I think it's something that people subconsciously notice but aren't really aware of, that it's something that's drawing them. Oh, boom, boom, we're done with the quest, the task, so to speak.
Impressive combination.
Yes, it is impressive. Killing a bunch of NPCs who are going to die and be born and die and be born about 1,000 times. But I think we're going to call it off or end this episode right here. I want to thank everybody for watching, tuning in. I'm not sure if I'm going to go all the way up to 80 on this Revenant. I might simply just call it at level 40 and start producing some more PvP content. We're going to see how this season works out. Hopefully it's going to be a lot better. But this is Luxeley saying, whatever it is by you, morning, afternoon, or night, make it epic. Luxeley out.